Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This video tutorial is for students who are in Geometry Goal 4. We've learned all of the basic trig functions, SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, and tangent, and now we're actually going to be using them to find missing sides and learning how trig is actually kind of a cool thing. So first things first, scroll down. We're going to set ourselves up. So let's see here. X, is that opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? That's opposite. 16, is that opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? Hypotenuse. And now that we know that SOHCAHTOA exists, then we know it's going to be sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse, and then tangent is going to be opposite over adjacent. Okay, so now that we know everything that is necessary, we are ready to set up. Round your answer to the nearest hundredth, so we know we're going to be doing some basic setup. But what do we know? Since this is opposite and hypotenuse, this is sine. So sine 65 equals opposite over hypotenuse. All right, so if we're going to be solving for x, I need to times 16 times 16. So that means x equals 16 times sine 65. Let's see what that turns out to be. So 16 times sine 65 is 14.50. So x equals 14.5. Round your answer to the nearest tenth. So there we go. Next up, let's see here. If we go across here, that is opposite, and then this is hypotenuse. Oh, we got the same trig function. The universe doesn't always give this to you. I know sometimes kids get confused when this doesn't match their topic exactly. So let's see here. So sine 36 equals opposite over hypotenuse. So times 19 times 19. X equals 19 times sine 36. All right, so 19 times sine 36 equals 11.16, so that rounds to 11.2. And that's really all you're doing with your basic trig functions. You're setting it up, figuring out which thing has the variable, and then solve for the variable. So if we take it up a step, solving a right triangle, which was one of the fun things to do back in the dark ages of school days, is what happens is if they give you just a little bit of information, you can literally find everything else. So over here, there are 1, 2, 3 things that are missing. So the measure of angle A, we're looking for little a, and we're looking for C. So let's set things up. This is the easiest one because that's 180 minus 90 minus 44, so the measured angle A is going to be 46. Yes, human calculator, don't even ask. You shouldn't even be surprised by now. Next up, how do we find little a? Well, let's erase all this extra bits here. We have the a, that's the unknown, and oh look, we have an opposite and a is adjacent. So what does that mean? It's exactly like this topic up here. You're going to have opposite and adjacent, so that's tangent of 44 equals opposite over adjacent. So times A times A. So A tan 44 equals 26. Divide by tan 44. Divide by tan 44. So what I'm putting into the calculator, A equals 26 divided by tangent 44. Okay, so we have 26 divided by tangent 44. And what do we get? 26.9. 26.9. Okay, not so bad. I unfortunately have to erase this because Ms. DeBell did not give herself enough space. Next up, we're looking for C now. Okay, so what is C? C is our hypotenuse. And then what do we have? We have our opposite. So that means this is opposite and hypotenuse, so this is sine. So sine 44 equals opposite over hypotenuse. So times C times C. C sine 44 equals 26. Divide. C equals 26 divided by sine 44. All right? That didn't work. What'd I do? There we go. So 26 divided by sine 44 is 37.4. 37.4. And that's all it really means to solve a triangle. Okay, is you're getting used to your trig functions, setting them up, and exactly like you were doing up in here is solving for your variable. So let's see here, the measure of angle A is, let's see here, so it is going to be 34, because again, 180 minus 90 minus 56, okay? And now next up, let's find, let's look for B. So B, there's the angle, there's the B, and there's the number. That's opposite, and then that is adjacent, so this is tangent. So tan 56 equals B over 18. Okay, so times 18 times 18, B equals 18 times tangent 56. So let's figure out what that is. 18 times tangent 56 equals 26.6. 26.7. So B equals 26.7. Okay, what about C, the hypotenuse? Wow, I didn't give myself a lot of room. So hypotenuse, let's see here. Well, if it's a hypotenuse, then we have adjacent and hypotenuse, that's cosine. So I'm going to write lower this time. So cosine 56 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So times C, C cosine 56 equals 18 divided by cosine. So C equals 18 divided by cosine 56. All right, 18 divided by cosine 56 is 32.1, nope, 32.2. So C equals 32.2, 32.2. So all you're doing is one really basic angle measurement and then two very basic trig functions. Okay, this is starting to look doable. I'm kind of liking this. Let's see here. Use trig to find the length in a word problem. So I'm not even looking at the word problem for a second. I have a diagram and that makes me happy. I have an angle. This is my adjacent. This is the unknown. Well, gee, that's my opposite. This is a tangent. Oh, okay. So let's see here. Find the height of the building. Yeah. So tangent of 69, because again, tangent 69 equals opposite over adjacent. So x equals 91 times tangent 69. Okay, so what is 91 times, nope, that did not work. Let's back that up for a second. 91 times, what is it? Tangent 69 equals 237.06, and what are we rounding to? The nearest tenth, so 237.1. X equals 237.1. Gee, that was downright painless. Let's see here. We have an adjacent and we have an opposite. So we're doing tangent again. So tangent, what's the angle measure? 70 equals opposite over adjacent, 52. So times 52 times 52. X equals 52 times tangent 70 degrees. Okay, so that's going to be 52 times tangent 52 degrees, which is 66.55, so 66.6. X equals 66.6. Okay, this is looking doable. I'm kind of liking my trig here. Use trigonometric, Miss Dubois can talk this morning, to find the angle measure in a right triangle. So now that we've been using all of our SOHCAHTOA, now we're going to do it in reverse, because we have, what is this? That is the opposite and this is the adjacent. Wow, the universe likes trig today. So that means our tangent of x is equal to 28 over 25. Okay, that's nice, Ms. Dubois, I hear you saying, but how do you undo a tangent? I don't just inverse tan it, except I do. And on the calculator, it looks like -1. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing tan -1, 28 over 25. Now let's see if Ms. Dubois knows how to do this on the calculator. So we have 28 divided by 25. That's easy. And then second button. And oh, look, there's the -1. What do we get? 48.23. So 48.2. So x is about 48.2 degrees. Okay. Let's see here. 24, that's an opposite. 13 is an adjacent. Wow, what is with tangent following me for this video? Okay, so for tangent x, that is opposite over adjacent. So we're going to invert this. So x equals inverse tangent 24 over 13. Okay, so 24 over 13 is, and then inverse tangent is going to be 62.5 degrees. X is approximately 62.5 degrees. Okay, this doesn't look so bad. I'm feeling comfortable with this. And now we get some of Ms. Dubois' favorites, elevation and depression in a word problem. Okay, so 20-foot long ramp, bottom is 13 feet from the ramp. Find x, the angle of elevation for the ramp. Oh, so let's see here, 13, that's my adjacent, and 21 is my hypotenuse, which means this is cosine. So cosine x equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So we're going to invert that. So x equals cosine inverse of 13 over 21. Okay, so 13 over 21 equals, and then we want to inverse cosine, so 51.8 degrees. X equals 51.8 degrees. Gee, that's exactly the same as the other thing. It just happens to be in a word problem. Okay, not complaining. Here we have it again. That's opposite, and that's hypotenuse. Hey, we finally got to sine. Okay, so sine x equals opposite over hypotenuse. We're going to inverse it. So x equals inverse sine 14 over 15. Okay, so 14 divided by 15 equals inverse sine 68.96, so 69 degrees. X equals 69 degrees. So again, you could not do this in the beginning, but now you're getting comfortable with what inverse functions are because you just had like 1, 2, 3, 4 problems that are doing the same thing. And now using trig to find the area of a triangle. Okay, so now we're doing two things at once. We have all of our trig functions. We have but now if they're looking for the area of the triangle, area is 1/2 times the base times the height. So what does that mean? Well, there's our base. What's our height? Oh, so that's the opposite. And then there's the adjacent. And this is exactly like we were doing before. So opposite and adjacent, so this is tangent. So tan 53 equals opposite over adjacent. So times 11 times 11, x equals 11 times tangent 53. Okay, 11 times tangent 53 equals 14.59, so 14.6. Do not round. Oh, wait. Do not round intermediate computations. Okay, so this is going to be 14.5974. 14.5974. ... Okay, so since it's base times height divided by 2, we are going to take this number in the calculator. We're not going to change anything. times 11 equals divided by 2 equals. There. That prevents me from rounding on the inside. Now we're ready. So 80.28, so 80.3. X equals 80.3, or is approximately, I should say, 80.3. Same thing is going to happen over here. So there's my opposite. Okay, so it's opposite and adjacent. So tangent 53 equals opposite over adjacent. 11. Wait, is that the same thing? The curse of Ms. Dubois screen grabs strikes again, and I still somehow, even with a different orientation, got the same numbers. Okay, we'll go through it again anyway. So times 11 times 11, x equals 11 times tangent 53. So 11 times tangent 53 equals, now I'm going to go straight from there into area, because area is 1/2 times the base times the height. We just found the base and now times the height. So times 11, and now divided by 2 equals 80.3 again. So x is approximately 80.3 again. All right, so a lot of really cool trig that we covered in here. Next up, there's a few leftover things, some theorems that we'll be talking about in the next family. A couple of these are DSA topics somewhere, but I don't know the geometry DSA nearly as well as I do the Algebra 2 stuff. As always, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. I'll see you in the next one.